The first name on my list is Macys. Remember, I told you I had a retail name in here, and you know, I know a lot of people will probably look at this daily chart and be like, what does this mean? Strong stock looking for continuation. Yeah, it hasn't been super strong lately, but if you zoom out, guys, this really had, you know, we've had this on our radar since way back here, and it's just, you know, if you guys look at higher time frames, this still looks fine. We had the blow off, we pulled back, and we've been just traveling sideways, building a base. And why do I care about this name for Friday? Look at every time you get a candle like this after a 2 or 3 to 4 day sell-off into a level. Every time you get a few days of just up move, right? And like, you guys can just go back and look for all these candles. Here's one, you know, just look for sell-offs and you get these candles and then we pop, right? This name likes to do this. And we've had this sell-off into a level that makes sense. So I've got 2 ways I'm looking to play this. If we gap up on Monday, then I'm looking at dips towards, what did I write down? Risk under Friday, I'm looking to flush to 24. 24 is the level I want to buy, with risk under Friday's lows. If we don't gap up, I'm looking for this thing to flush towards Friday's lows for scoops, okay, with real tight risk. I think we're going to get a few days of buying on this name. Remember what we said about XRT too, guys. Whoops. If your man could type. Here. Big sell-off into this trend line. Now this one obviously doesn't have that same candle that Macys had. But again, if you look, not all the other names in the sector look the same, right? I mean, you know, I go through all of them trying to find what names look the best. I really like the Macys. So that's the idea on Macys. Either gap up and buy a flush into 24 with risk under Friday's lows. Keep in mind, super tight risk. It's not a name that has a ton of range. But if this thing closes strong, remember, I think it's going to have a few days of buying, right? If you lock profits in, don't be deterred by the fact that it's only got a $1.35 ATR. One, $1.35 on a $20 stock, that's a decent ATR. And two, if you swing it and you can get 2 days of that, you're getting like closer to 3 points of that, when the risk, your risk is going to be like a 25 cent, 30 cent risk on this name if you're playing against Friday's lows. All right, so the next idea is, and here's the one I talked about, I have a healthcare name, CVS. And this was another idea from, I think 2 weeks ago or something. I don't remember if I talked about it last week. I may have, but huge sell-off, okay? This was on news. The sell-off was, if I'm not mistaken, was a $400 million settlement for opioid stuff in Florida. If you guys look at their books, if you guys look at their balance sheet and their statement of cash flows and understand the numbers, that's not a lot of money to these guys. It's not like it's nothing, but it's still it's a nothing burger to them. And I honestly like this trade or this idea because I think you get a twofer here. I think you get a day trade / swing combo. Now, I'll talk about the swing real quick just because I got this drawn out for you guys. You can see if I were to put this on as a swing, and this is without a day trade involved, right? If I wanted to swing this, I'm not wrong until we lose these lows. The idea here is that this has already triggered a valid setup, and that was where the risk needed to go. This comes from a weekly chart, right? Pull back into the weekly 20, push up, pull back higher low, and then we break. So the target is these highs, and we didn't get there, right? So the target is still intact, and we've had this big pullback. So we're getting better prices right now. So I feel like you can buy this with risk down here under these lows, and you're getting a really good risk reward on the name. And when you get these kinds of risk rewards, it's okay to be wrong a number of times in order to get one right, because you're getting the risk reward that is going to cover all the losses and some, okay? So I may be willing to throw this on as just a swing by itself. But I think the way I'm going to play it is I'm going to look to buy against Friday's lows, which is that psychological 100 level. And if the trade works and it closes strong, I'm going to lock in my day trade profits on it, and then I'm going to swing a piece, and the risk is going to be even tighter. I'm not giving it under these lows. My risk would be under Friday's lows. So let's say we buy against 100. Actually, you know, Friday's lows were what? 100.30. So like I'm not gonna stop right above 100. I'm not gonna stop at like 100.20 when I know that psychological level is oftentimes very good support. So my stop would probably be 99.39. So we'll give it a bunch of wiggle room, so that it has to at least get underneath that the half of 99.5. So I would probably give it a 99.39 stop. And if you get $100 entry or somewhere close by it, right, you're risking like 60, 70, 80 cents for the possibility of, the target's up there at 111. Okay, so that is an insane risk reward that I would love to take any day of the week. And so that's how I'm personally going to play this. Flush against Friday's lows. I'm going to be scooping it with the intent of having a day trade that will also be swinging for a partial if it closes strong. If it gaps up, I have no problem at all buying a flush towards the gap to close area, which the closing price is 101.09. So, you're still going to get a nice, good risk reward on it if you do have that mindset of possibly swinging some of it. So that's the idea on CVS. The next name, as mentioned, is an oil name, XOM. And so this one is kind of a much different idea than the other two, right? This is more of this needs to do something first before I will even have my eyes on it. And what is that thing? I want it to break over, what did I write? 84, where's the idea? Over 84.61. And then I'm looking to buy flushes towards 84 and join trend. If you guys look, just have this little flag built in here. I want to see it break above these highs here, and then I'm looking to buy dips and join trend. Really simple. A lot of times people think that these trade ideas need to somehow be complicated or like look like calculus formulas or something. It's not like that, guys. Keep things simple. A lot of times the simpler it is, the better. So that's XOM idea. Over 84.61, buy dips to 84 and join trend. As long as it keeps making higher lows and higher highs, you can stay in that trend and let it ride and let it pay you. If it starts to break down, you guys need to understand how to read a trend. Like if you're riding a 5-minute trend, higher lows, and that trend ends, you need to understand how to know that. And that's not what the Sunday preps are for. These are just for the ideas. You guys want to learn how to read trends, come over to True Trade. We'll get you all set up. Next name, NVDA. I like two levels on this one. So the first level I'm looking at is, you see when we had this big push up and the pullback, this low here lines up really nice with that monthly pivot, 256. So I'm looking for a little bit more panic come Monday morning, flush down to 256. I'm willing to put that trade on and know how to manage my risk, right? I'm not going to ride it all the way down to the next level. The next level is 252, which is your annual pivot and your 20-day. So there's about 4 points of gap between the first level I'll try it and the second level I'll try it. I'm not going to ride this thing 4 points against me so that I can add at 252, guys. If it pulls back to 256 and can't just hold that level, I'll bail. I'll probably bail for a point, something like that. I'll keep it nice and tight and I'll revisit it. And here's the thing. People hear that and they go, well, what if it doesn't get to the 20-day? Then I guess I missed the damn trade, right? It's still better for me personally than just riding it 4 points against me and then going, man, I should have just stopped out 3 points ago and I could be re-entering fresh right here. That ain't the way I play it. So just understand, when I tell you these ideas, guys, that my risk management hat is on at all times. 256, I'll play it, but I'm not riding it down. Okay, I will stop out, revisit it 252. I say that, guys, because I worry every time I put these Sunday preps together. I worry insane about you guys not managing your risk, and then somehow, I don't like to live with that kind of feeling like I didn't express enough concern about how you manage your risk in a trade. Okay. All right. So that was NVIDIA, and the last name on this list, guys, is IBM. IBM, this is such a no-brainer level for me. If this flushes to Friday's lows, I don't know if it will because we closed at highs, right? But it also spiked straight up into the underside of the 200-day, and there's a lot of resistance up there. I am praying for a flush to 128 on IBM. That is such a no-brainer level for me. It's the ATR, it's the 20-day, it's the weekly 20, it's the monthly pivot, it's Friday's lows. It's, if you draw this line from right here, you see all these tops and you see all these levels here. Dude, this is the kind of stuff. And when you see that buyers were there on Friday and that flushed down there and they bought that, it's like, yeah, can I please get a redo on that? I didn't see it on Friday, but if now that my eyes are on it, if I see this Monday and we get that, that quick flush down, gut check all the other people that swung it, I'm going to be a buyer. I like IBM into 128. So that is it for the long ideas. And I'll show you, there was nothing. Oh, you guys probably can't see that. Let me make it bigger. There was nothing in terms of oversold reversion setups that had my eyes. So nothing at 20. I believe there was nothing at 30. Oh, one chart, C. Oh, and I'll tell you why. So C is not on my oversold reversion setups, and you'll see why in a minute. It is actually a short idea. So that's why you don't see C in here. And then of course, I've said this plenty of times, is when I feel like I have to go in here and open up the parameters on the RSI to 40, now I'm just kind of like grasping for straws, right? Like I look through these charts. There's nothing on here that looks oversold to the point where I feel like it's just going to have that bounce. Doesn't mean these things won't bounce. I feel like maybe you could kind of say CVS fits the mold. Definitely getting to the point where it's oversold. It's it was in that screener. But again, in my opinion, this has been such a strong stock, just acting well. I'm definitely willing to put this on that strong stocks list. But again, it could probably fit the mold for the oversold as well, which just gives me even more conviction on this, right? But that's the reason there's nothing in this section of the Sunday prep this week. So we're going to move right on to the short setups. And like I just said, the first one on that list is C. The